for coming out today. Today we celebrate Girls in ICT Day, and this year the ITU, we are joining the ITU in celebrating 10 years of Girls in ICT Day. This day has been specially designated to encourage young girls to pursue STEM education as well as careers in ICT. So we want to start off this morning with a prayer, and I invite Mr. Robert Gist to lead us in prayer.
Those who are of the various denominations, you can feel free to do the sign of the cross or whatever your religion permits. I should say your denomination permits. Heavenly Father, as we come to you this morning, I wish to first of all thank you for traveling mercies for everyone who is here today. Thank you for getting us safely to this event. Thank you for the little ones. Thank you for the gift of life, health, and strength. Thank you for protecting us throughout the night and thus far this morning. I pray for your continued protection today for everyone in here, those who are still on their way. I pray for their protection, Lord. I thank you for this event. I thank you for everyone involved in this event, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Telecoms, the NTRC and the team, and especially Mediship Tuesday, who has been working very hard to ensure that this is a success, this event is a success. I also pray and thank you for all those who have been working behind the scene for this event. Heavenly Father, as we go through this day, I pray for a very successful event, a very successful ICT, Girls in ICT Fair, and I pray that those little ones that are here present will see the value in this event and see the value of the future prospective careers in the field of ICT. Heavenly Father, I pray that whenever we leave this and we're heading back, you continue to protect us. Bless us, bless all those who need a special blessing, a special prayer. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you once again for joining us, and we say a special welcome to Mrs. Gloria Joseph, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Planning and Economic Affairs, Mr. Blaise, the Chief Education Officer of the Minister of Education, Ms. Leslie Ann Walden-Martin, clinical psychologist, one of our featured speakers, and Dr. Nadine Shillingford-Wandem, or is it Nadine? I'm sorry, but I forgot to get the correct pronunciation. She is joining us via Zoom, and she is a computer security consulting engineer. So at this time, I'd like to invite our first speaker, Ms. Urania Williams, the USF Administrator of the NTRC, to deliver some opening remarks.
Good morning. Mrs. Gloria Joseph, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Economic Affairs, Planning, Resilience, and Sustainable Development, Telecommunications and Broadcasting, Dr. Jeffrey Baptiste, Chief Education Officer Acting, Mrs. Leslie-Ann Waldron Martin. I'm sorry. I am assuming it is. Okay. Other officials from the Ministry of Education, Public Works and Digital Transformation, Ministry of Telecoms and Broadcasting, NTRC staff, teachers, speakers, and most importantly, our girls in ICT. If there is any lesson that was learned from COVID-19 pandemic, is the need for information communications technology, ICTs. While there was a growth in the use of education technology before the pandemic, during the pandemic, there was a surge in the usage of online platforms, video conferencing tools, all geared towards providing students with a safe and continuing environment for learning. Over the years, the NTRC has been promoting girls in ICT and collaborating with any entity who is willing to promote girls in ICT. This year, we are pleased to be partnering with more than one government ministry to promote this year. This year's theme, Connecting Girls and Creating Brighter Future, aimed to inspire and increase the representation of girls and women in careers in technology. Fortunately for us in Dominica, our girls are connected and online more than the boys, or so I feel. But we need to get beyond being online. As my manager usually says, we need to be more producers than consumers of the internet. So it is a hope that today's event will sensitize you young ladies to the various careers in the fields of ICT, all in the hope of enticing you into pursuing studies into one of these fields. So young ladies, welcome and enjoy your day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Williams. Our next speaker, she's on, but she isn't responding. So I'm just going to ask Ms. Leslie-Ann Waldron Martin to present to us in the meantime.
Mrs. Gloria Joseph, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Planning and Economic Affairs, Dr. Jeffrey Blaise, Chief Education Officer Acting, Ms. Urania Williams, USF Coordinator, NTRC, Dr. Nadine Schillingford-Wundam, Computer Security Consulting Engineer, staff of the NTRC, Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Telecommunications and Broadcasting, teachers, girls in ICT, good morning. It is a pleasure to be here with you this morning as I present on social media and mental health.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello? Testing? Testing. Okay. Thank you very much to Mrs. Leslie Ann Waldron Martin for that presentation. And just so you guys know, Mrs. Martin has a Master's of Science degree in Clinical Psychology from the Walden University, and she also holds a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology from the University of the Virgin Islands. And she does a lot of work with the holistic personal development of young people. So thank you very much to Mrs. Martin for that presentation. Our next speaker is Dr. Nadine Shillingford-Wanden. Dr. Nadine Shillingford holds a PhD in computer science from the University of Notre Dame, and she is also a certified Splunk architect, and she does a lot of work in managing the security operations at various institutions, and she also works as senior security engineer for the Hospital Corporation of America. So Dr. Shillingford-Wanden is joining us via Zoom. So right now we're just going to tune in to her presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Can you all hear me? Can everybody hear me? If you can hear me, just clap. Okay. I got a response from someone. All right. Good morning. I'm going to skip the formal introduction, the formal hellos. I'm just going to jump right into this. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak at this event. As you can see in the program, and as you were told by the previous speaker, my name is Dr. Nadine Shillingford-Wanden. I've lived in America for long enough that everybody calls me Nadine, but I like to try and stress that my name is actually Nadine. And I'm from the village of St. Joseph. I attended St. Joseph SD Primary School, St. Joseph Secondary, I believe it has been renamed since then, and Sixth Form College, which is, I guess, now the State College. I left Dominica in 1995 to attend college, and right after graduation, I moved to Michigan to do a master's degree in software engineering. I taught a while at that same university. When I was done, they asked me to stay on and teach. I did that, and then I decided to go back to school and do a PhD in computer science at the University of Notre Dame. That period of time was a bit difficult for me because I was fairly new to the country, and by then I was already married and I was pregnant. So I'm saying this because I'm speaking to a group of girls. I was pregnant and I had my daughter after my first set of exams, but I kept with it. Took me about 5 years to finish the PhD program, and then I graduated, and I think for me that is one of my most important things that I've done in my life, in that I was able to set that example for my daughter. After that, I taught at an engineering college where I got introduced to the field of cybersecurity, and I decided to leave teaching to pursue cybersecurity. So what is cybersecurity? It's the name given to the field that is focused most on protecting information online. Unlike what the previous introduction said, I currently work for a large retail company and moved away from the Hospital Corporation of America. I work for a large retail company, and that company has about 20,000 stores around the US. My team and I, we belong to the Security Operations Center, and what that means is we our goal every day is to ensure that nobody from outside of the company gets access to the company's data. So imagine what would happen if we did not do our job. What would happen is people could get access to employee information, so social security numbers, credit cards, addresses, all of those things. And what happens if somebody gets access to one of those 20,000 stores? It means now they have customer information. So somebody goes over to the store to buy, it's to buy something like toilet paper, right? Most people here in the US use credit cards now. So I put the customer puts a credit card in, and if there is a bad guy or if somebody was able to access that network because we were doing our job properly, that means they get access to that credit card too. And that means that they can go shop on anything on Amazon, buy stuff, buy games, whatever, and we'll be in trouble. So how do we do this? We monitor all activity on the network. And that might sound really like a lot of data because it's all activity for 20,000 stores and the corporate department. We monitor everything. Every email that gets sent using one of the email addresses of our company gets scanned. So if, for example, one of my co-workers gets an email and there is a virus in the email or there's a link that looks fishy, then we get an alert and we call that person and say, hey, don't click on that. Or we have automatic programs that will actually pull that email from the person's mailbox. If we also access logins. So for example, if somebody logs in to a store in New York, and we see that person is also logged into a store in California, we know that's a problem. We have programs that will automatically alert us and we'll jump on it and call the person and say, where exactly are you? Because we're seeing you in New York and California. So this brings me to the reason why I was asked to speak to you. Always remember that the same way that my team can see everything that's happening on our network, anybody who is trained in security like myself is able to get to information that you put online. Right? It might seem really daunting that, there's a lot, you're all the way in Dominica, but if your data is out there online, it's available to anybody. We have special team members in my company who their job is to break into stuff, right? They know how to break into stuff. I'm not on that team, but the idea is if we put it out there, we can find it. So, be careful what you share online. So I'm going to give you a few tips, won't be too long. Be careful what you share online. This does not only include words, it includes pictures. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're going down to town and there's a good-looking guy who says, hey, pretty, how are you doing? And you say, yes, I'm good. What's your name? Tell me your name. Now, back in my day, that conversation would probably end right there, right? Because, I go to St. Joseph, go home, probably I'll watch some TV. It was $2 per minute to make a phone call, so, I probably wouldn't call the person because I didn't give my phone number. But now it's different because now you've told the person your name, you might tell them I'm from St. Joseph, and now you can go on Facebook and search for it, right? So now that person wants more information about you, and you're like, you don't even remember that you spoke to the person. But you can go online, look you up on Facebook, Instagram, on WhatsApp. You can see your activity on Facebook, see that you say I usually walk to school at 7:45 in the morning. I take a selfie because, me and my friends are walking to school, so I take a selfie. He can see that. He can see that picture that say, oh, I love this view of the sun from my house. You stand on your porch and take a picture. Now he has an idea of where your house is facing, right? So this is your house. You can say, let's say you put in pictures about, this is my dad's car, or something like that, because you just be proud your dad got a new car, or the bus just passed in front of your house. You put pictures, people can see all those things. So you want to be sure that when you put information, you are aware that that information is out there and people can trace you. And this can also escalate, right? It can get to even more. You ever search in Google for something like, the latest pair of shoes that you saw on TV, and then next time you go on Facebook or Instagram, you see an ad, a commercial for that same thing. It's because all of these sites are connected. How do they do that? Well, information you put online is sometimes shared between companies, and therefore, once you search one site, it's possible that you will also be sharing that information to another site. So here's an example. A few years ago, a girl went to a store in Target. I don't know if you've heard of Target, it's the one with the big red bullseye, and bought some supplies. She went home and snuck in. A few days later, her father received an ad or a letter in the mail from Target saying, "Congratulations on your upcoming baby." The father was mad. He called Target and said, "What are you talking about? I'm not pregnant. Me in my old age, why am I supposed to be pregnant?" And then he looked at who that message was addressed to and realized it was his daughter. So he called Target and said, "What are you talking about? My daughter's 15. And if he was like my father, he probably cursed them out and told them my daughter wouldn't do that. And when he told his daughter, that's when she confessed that that she was pregnant, and what she had just gone into the store to get was pregnancy tests and all stuff like that. So that's to tell you that companies save a lot of the data. For example, here in the US, we go to a particular store, you use a card, that information is tied to that card. So they know how to find information about you. I'm not sure how much of that kind of information is mined in government. That's the word that we use for it, basically getting all that data from the things you do online. But it happens here. In fact, given enough time in the speech, I would probably be able to tell you how to do it. People who are versed in cybersecurity are trained to use something called natural language processing to scrape data from social media sites and basically mine that data and find out what the information is about. So posts, tweets, emails. If I went online on my computer right now, and I can look at the logs that are coming in from my company, and I can tell you the type of information about somebody based on the websites that they visit, the emails that they receive, and so on. So long story short, be careful how much you share. These things like your address, your phone number, passport information, or other identification information should never be shared on social media. Do not share anything that you wouldn't want your parents or your teachers to see. No pictures too. Okay, don't do that. Even if you set your privacy settings so that only certain people can see it, there's nothing stopping somebody else from taking a snapshot of that picture just before you pull it down. Snapshot of that picture and pass it on via traditional means. They print it and they pass it around school, or they send it to somebody by WhatsApp, by text, or whatever. Do not make arrangements to meet anyone that you've only met online. That, the world is getting very much, it's getting smaller because of technology. And it's possible that you might, I'm going to the US this summer after school's finished. And this person that I met online, it doesn't have to be a guy, right? And I'm talking to mostly girls. It doesn't have to be a guy, it could be a lady. She said, meet her at Walmart, at this particular time. Don't trust people so much. The internet was based on trust, but we always encourage people to not trust people so much. Do not arrange to meet anybody that you've met, only met online. Another important point is that you should not click on weird links in emails. Whenever someone shares a link to a website, a video, or whatever, I usually ask first. My family gets annoyed at me because I will call and say, you did just send me a message before I click on it. We stress that a lot of work because you'll be amazed how many people fall for that kind of thing. A message will show up on somebody's inbox saying, here is the invoice for the next acquisition. That person has no idea what acquisition that is, but they will click on the link, and next thing you know, they get a screen that says, please enter your username and password. They will enter username and password. Now that bad guy, whoever is behind this particular attack, has access to all your information, whether it be Facebook, whether it be your work email, whether it be a school account, whatever. So that particular tactic is called phishing. And we always encourage people to be very aware of that. It can be teenagers like you as school children, or it can be CEOs, presidents of companies. It happens to everybody. I've seen it. Look carefully at emails and messages. Look for background. If it's coming from, it says it's coming from a bank, and they're spelling bank with an extra K or an extra N, that's a problem, right? It might not be that obvious, but look carefully and ask yourself, does this information look like it's coming from the person who said it's coming from? You get an email address from somebody famous, you get all excited, Zac Efron or one of those young boys that people like nowadays. Look at the email address. Does it say zacefron@gmail.com? There's no way Zac Efron is going to be using no Gmail account. So pass on that one, mark it as spam, and move on. Use strong passwords. Do not share them with anyone. So as you get older, you're going to get more access to different things, for your work and all of that. Make sure that you know a strong password. If you can't remember a good password, use a phrase. So here's one. I like pretty flowers. Use a phrase like that, and instead of the space between the words, you put a dash or you put another symbol, and then you put a number in there. Put some upper case characters, capital letters, put some numbers, change the O's to zeros, that kind of thing, but make it something that you can remember. There are also tools online that are available, for example, something called KeyPass, where you can put all the passwords that you need in that tool, and then you only remember just one password. So let's say you have the I love flowers, number 10, that would be your main master password, and then you can store all your other passwords, complicated passwords, in that tool, and that tool is on your phone or on your laptop, and you can access it when you need to remember passwords. If you own a computer or phone or tablet, do not leave it lying around. Same for things like USB keys. Do not leave them lying around and unlocked. Make sure it has a proper password. Won't allow you to do something like Find My Phone, which is an application on either Google Play or the Apple Store. That way you can install it on your phone or your tablet or whatever. And if, for example, your phone does get lost, let's say you're traveling or you went to town or whatever and you lost your phone, you're able to get onto another computer and wipe that phone. That way somebody will get the phone, it's a bad thing, but they won't get access to your information because you can clean it out right away. And we do that a lot in my industry. If, for example, a company laptop gets lost, the owner reports it, we will go ahead and just wipe the computer remotely. So we take everything out of the computer and just make it like it's brand new. The person can't do anything with the information. You are still children. If someone sends you a message, be it a photo or a text, and it makes you uncomfortable, tell a parent or someone you trust. This does not have to be a stranger. It could be a teacher, it could be a bus driver, a family friend. If you are uncomfortable, tell someone you trust. Finally, I recently got a t-shirt that says, be a nice human. Don't do to others what you would not want them to do to you. Do not be mean, curse people out, share bad things about others online. Okay? If you put it out there, if you erase it, you delete it right after you put it in, somebody could have seen it already and took a snapshot. Or it could, just as the previous speaker said, it could have affected somebody mentally just by that few seconds that they see it. So do not be mean. Remember, what you put online stays online. It's kind of like a bad disease. It's very hard to get rid of stuff even after you press that delete button. It stays there. It does not automatically get wiped out. If I wanted to find it, I would find it. There's no easy way to get rid of it. So share safely, keep sweet, and aim high. I have gone through quite a bit of different experiences in my life up here. I work mainly in the field of men. All my co-workers except one girl on my team is a man, and yet I'm able to get my work done, and people are seeing what I'm doing, and that they're seeing that even if I came from a small country, and sometimes they can't understand a thing I'm saying, but when I sit at my desk every day, I get my work done, and I'm getting paid good money for it. So aim high. If you need to reach out to someone who is in a field that you are interested in, like mine, find that person on Facebook. My name is Nadine Shillingford-Wandem on Facebook if you want to look out for me. I also do a whole lot of art and drawings and stuff. You can find my information. I can answer questions on the path that I took. Find a role model that you can work with. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Dr. Nadine Shillingford-Wandem for that very informative presentation. I learned a few things myself. I don't know if any of you did. Did we learn anything? Yes. Okay. In addition to reaching out to Dr. Shillingford-Wandem to ask questions, we also have a very wonderful group of women who are sorry, who have careers in ICT right here in Dominica with us today. And you will be able to interact with them following the ceremony at the career stations to your left, I believe. It's on my right. But you will be able to ask them questions about their academic qualifications, how did they get into the fields that they are in. And we also have a nice, fun little aspect of this program today. We have a photo booth right to the back that you will get to take pictures. You can send it to your friends, and you can also submit it to our live photo slideshow. But we're doing that after the ceremony. I would just like to invite our next speaker, Mrs. Gloria Joseph, to present to us. She is the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Planning and Economic Affairs, and she will be addressing us on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Telecoms and Broadcasting.
Good morning to everyone. Are you all doing well? How are the kids? How are the children? Long period today? You would have already taken your snack break, right? Some people, the best period of the day is recess. That's their favorite time. Dr. Jeffrey Blaise, Chief Education Officer, and any other official from the Ministry of Education. I don't think I have seen Mr. Craig Nesty, who is the Executive Director of NTRC, but I do want to recognize him. Ms. Urania Williams, USF Coordinator of the NTRC. Dr. Nadine Shillingford-Wondem, who just spoke to us so brilliantly. Ms. Melissa Toussaint, Assistant Engineer at NTRC and Chairperson of Girls in ICT. Staff of the ICT Department. Staff of NTRC. Ms. Colita Hamilton, Web Developer at ICT Unit. Teachers, students, invited guests, persons listening via the media both here and outside, the media representatives here, my GIS staff, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my intention to be brief because I'm sure you have a lot more exciting things that you want to do that is tied with the ceremony, like your photo shoot and all of that. I missed Mrs. Leslie Ann Waltran Martin. Very, very good presentation this morning on how social media can impact and affect us both adversely and positively. Let me first express regrets for the absence of my minister, the Minister of State for Telecommunications and Broadcasting, Senator the Honorable Oscar George, who due to other pressing and urgent obligations could not be here with us today, but he extends his sincere and best wishes for a successful commemoration of Girls in ICT Day. This year's theme is Connected Girls, Creating Brighter Futures. Every year, Girls in ICT is celebrated as a staple activity of the International Telecommunications Union to highlight and to bring awareness of the active participation of girls and young women in ICT. This year is the 10th anniversary of the Girls in ICT. It is quite appropriate that the theme chosen has been Connected Girls, Creating Brighter Futures. It is timely also in the government's calendar of digital economy and the digital transformation now ongoing. Technologies have been invaluable during the COVID pandemic. They help us to stay connected and to keep vital services and businesses going. As highlighted by the Secretary General of the United Nations, almost half the world is still offline. And most of those who lack access to digital technology are women and girls in developing countries. The latest figures from the ITU, the International Telecommunications Union, show a 17% gender gap in internet use globally. This is even wider in the least developed countries. In some regions, the gender gap is growing, reinforcing gender inequalities by denying women and girls the opportunities to access education, to find better paid jobs, and to start new businesses. This morning, you were able to listen to Dr. Wondem, and I am hoping that all the girls here would have grasped that there is a place for you in the ICT world. Girls and young women are to be aware of the many employment and professional opportunities in ICT on an equal basis as their male counterparts. The internet has changed the way we live, isn't that true? It has changed everything around us, how we function, how we connect, how we network, even how we meet. If I were to gauge last year or the year before at this time, there'd be a lot of travel within the government service. We're traveling out of state, right, Dr. Blaise, to attend meetings. I have gone to countries where it would take me 2 days to get to my destination, 1.5 days for a meeting, and another 2 days to get back to Dominica. Now we meet virtually. We meet on Zoom. We meet on Google Meet. We meet on Jeans. We meet on so many platforms and webinars. We still accomplish the same purpose. We still have the same outcomes. So the internet definitely has changed the way we live. It means then that investment in human resource, investment in the ICT infrastructure and networks, and strengthening our resolve from the government standpoint to create the enabling environment for digital transformation and growth of the ICT sector is of critical importance. International Girls in ICT Day aims to inspire a global movement to increase the representation of girls and women in technology. It is therefore critical that it is a recommitment to the goal of equal access for young women and girls to find opportunities in science, technology, engineering, and maths, what we refer to as STEM. I wish to assure the girls here and girls listening all over, and more importantly, the representative group of the female students and the teachers, that the playing field has been leveled and access to career opportunities for girls in ICT has been equalized. ICT creates and fosters greater work-life balance for girls and women. I can tell you that there are many, many facets of our lives as women, right? As girls. And as the young girls here grow older, you'll find that your life gets more complex and the demands on you, your time, your efforts, your talents grow because you become mothers, you become wives, you become employees or professionals, you belong to clubs and groups and organizations, and so you have to find yourself clawing at so many different facets of your life that the work-life balance is quite important. And so the opportunity now presents itself with the emerging technology to work from home. How beautiful would that be? Some people would like to go out there and work, but if you gave me the opportunity, I could do well working from home and still accomplish as much. Because the world of technology has connected us to the workplace, right? It has created the environment in which we can be very productive and we can specialize, okay? Last year, the ongoing pandemic sought to derail economies the world over by confining us to our homes in an effort to limit the spread of the infectious disease and bringing much business activities to a halt. It is during these unprecedented times that the true capabilities of technology were realized as millions of people went online to connect, to collaborate, to meet, to discuss, to work, and to find opportunities for new markets. Digital technologies have also been instrumental in healthcare by facilitating researchers in the development of many COVID-19 vaccines available today and in supporting healthcare workers in treating the sick. The application and the use of ICTs is not only key to our success in fighting this virus, but it's also a major element in the continuity of life as we know it before the pandemic. This opportunity presents a chance for online business in all sectors, and it lessens the time for doing business through online transactions. Market opportunities expand, so we are no longer confined to the domestic market in Dominica. Somebody producing something or offering a service can attract customers the world over. So the market and the landscape of the market has changed drastically, and there is a place for every little girl sitting here today. There is a place for you if your interest is in ICT. Therefore, it is absolutely necessary to expand our digital skill sets so that we are not left behind in this age of rapid digitization. And Mrs. Martin did inform you that there is more to the internet than socialization and entertainment. There is more to it than meeting and greeting. And so if you can harness your skills, open up your mind to learn, find out how you can gain education opportunities to equip yourself, to tool yourself so that you can take advantage of the sector, this is there for you. So all hands are needed on deck, including those of our women and girls. According to the UN, women are far less likely to know how to program computers, and 25% less likely to know how to leverage confusion technologies for basic purposes. This gender gap widens at secondary and tertiary levels of education as more girls are opting out of STEM. Is that true, Dr. Blaise? A lot more girls are trying to get out of it, get out of the field of science and do just the subjects like business administration. Well, I used to be a teacher for 13 years, and then I also worked in telecoms for 13 years. And you would find that girls would lean more towards office administration, literature, history, nothing wrong about those subjects, but girls were scared in going into fields like engineering, architecture, designing, ICT. They thought that this was a boys' world. But we want to encourage the girls not to opt out of STEM, but to get into science, technology, engineering, and maths. Get into those fields as well, because the stakes are high. And what I've found out is, in those fields, you can work for yourself. You become your own boss. That doesn't mean that you lose the discipline of work, because you have to manage more tightly when you're your own boss, but you can set your salary. Right, girls? I see people who I have taught at school that did not do very well in what we call the academic stream, but their salaries are pretty healthy, and they drive trucks, and they sit and they draw and draft, and they're out there connecting. They're wearing steel-toe boots and not white blazers. They're out there with their jeans and their hard hats, but they're earning a healthy sum, or if you want to call it a handsome or a pretty sum of money. They are making lives for themselves. They are owning the vehicles, and they're attaining to the dreams that they always had. Girls, the opportunity is there for you. You don't just have to think of being a nurse, great aspiration, or a doctor, great aspiration. And some families, the parents want to be a doctor, want to be a lawyer, want to be a priest or pastor to balance the family. And the one that did not become any of those was like the black sheep of the family. The opportunity is there for you to be whatever you dream and desire to be. All right? As I wrap up, I want to say that the digital divide is not only imperative to leveling the playing field towards gender equality, but in the development of stronger women, stronger families, stronger communities, stronger economies, and the development of better technologies by extension. As we look at participating in today's activities and the activities that will follow the speeches that you have listened to and the remarks, it is my sincere hope that it will help stimulate and inspire girls and women to grasp the many opportunities available in ICT to develop your intellectual, vocational, and entrepreneurial capacity for betterment of yourselves, your families, and your communities. The government of Dominica and the ministry that I represent, the Ministry for Telecommunications and Technology, is committed to utilizing its endeavors to create opportunities for girls wishing to take advantage of the ICT sector. I therefore wish you every success, and again to assure you that the Ministry of Telecommunications and Technology, in collaboration with the NTRC, the Caribbean Telecoms Union, and international agencies like the International Telecommunications Union, will continue to connect the unconnected. Some of you have difficulties in your area in accessing broadband. The ministry is committed to ensuring that Dominica has 100% broadband connectivity by the end of this year. I wish to highlight in closing the sterling efforts of the NTRC staff towards today's activities, and especially recognize Ms. Melissa Tousse for her efforts in coordinating and preparing for this ceremony. Thank you all and have a very blessed day.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Joseph. And the NTRC has this initiative called CodeCam Caraïbe, and in this initiative, we are giving young girls like yourselves the opportunity to learn ICT skills such as programming and engineering. So you can feel free to check out our website or visit our office for more information on that. And I just have a few words here from our executive director who was unable to be here today. And he says that he's delighted with the level of response and engagement with this event, both by current women in ICT and the future girls who will be in ICT following this ceremony. And it is his hope that this event has sparked your interest in the field, as the opportunities are immense, from data science to artificial intelligence and machine learning. He must have forgotten engineering in there. Yes, individuals who can harness these skills will be in high demand, and we hope that you will be counted among one of them. All the best to you. And you can be counted as one of them if you enlist in one of our programs that we are offering at CodeCam Caraïbe. So at this time, I'd just like to invite Ms. Colita Hamilton, web developer from the ICT unit, to deliver the closing remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Mrs. Gloria Joseph, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Economic Affairs, Planning, Resilience and Sustainable Development, Telecoms and Broadcasting. Dr. Jeffrey Blaise, Representative of the Ministry of Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training and National Excellence. Mrs. Leslie Waldron Martin, Ms. Melissa Tousse, our chairperson, staff from the ICT unit, other officials from the public and private sector, members of the media, and our girls in ICT. I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to the following for their contribution towards making this International Girls in ICT event a success. The Ministry of Economic Affairs, Planning, Resilience and Sustainable Development, Telecoms and Broadcasting, the Ministry of Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training and National Excellence. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Economic Affairs. I would like to thank you, Mrs. Joseph, for your encouraging words and for reminding the young ladies that there is a seat at the table for us. And no matter where life takes us, though we may have more decisions to make than the fellows, but we can still do what we want to do and what we purpose in our minds to do. Do not forget that. Dr. Nadine Shilliford-Wodem, I thank you for delivering the keynote address. And indeed, we need to be vigilant and responsible while using the internet. We need to remember that, young ladies. Mrs. Lesbian Waldron-Martin, I thank you for your interactive presentation. And while social media is a good thing, it is always important to protect our mental health. And always remember, we just seen the highlight reel. If you will take anything at all from the presentation, just remember, it's a highlight reel. Mr. Robert Geese, I thank you for the prayer. Miss Urania Williams, thank you for the opening remarks. We'd like to further thank the Director of Telecoms, Mr. Bennett Thomas, Digital Domica, Mr. Samuel Owai, the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, NTRC, thank the staff, Ms. Vashanti Raymond, Essential Designs, C Media. To our girls who are present here today, while we are widely known to outperform the boys in reading and writing skills, we tend to be underrepresented in areas of science, technology, and mathematics. By the end of this event, I am hopeful that you'll be encouraged to pursue STEM education. You'll be inspired to work in STEM careers and empowered to engage your community and promote STEM collaborations through partnerships. To end, I would like to quote Barhima Sanu, Director of the ITU Telecommunication Development Bureau, and he said, "Empowering girls to choose a career in ICT is not just good for girls and their families. It can be a major acceleration of socio-economic development at the national level. So it's not just about you, what you can do for yourself and your family, but what you can do for your country. Connected girls, creating brighter futures." Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hamilton. And I know that the St. Luke's Primary is here, right? Hi. We had this animation competition going on prior to today's event. However, we did not receive as many submissions for that competition as we would like. The St. Luke's Primary did a lovely presentation with doing their TikTok challenge. However, they were the only primary school. Unfortunately, I know they will probably come in here expecting the prize giving ceremony, but we are extending the deadline, and we will send out an update on that via the Ministry of Education and our Facebook page once we have the date. So you guys can do another submission. And we also have the scratch animation competition that we would like the participation of the girls who are present today. Scratch is a code block design interface that you can use to learn programming. And if you haven't been introduced to that platform as yet, you are in luck, because over to your right, my left, we have some computers where you would be able to interact with the Scratch platform. You can tinker with it. It's fine. Just don't, alter the settings of the computer. But you guys can go to the career stations and ask our phenomenal ladies in ICT questions. You can grab a snack as well from the back and take some pictures at the photo booth. Thank you guys so much for coming.